I'm going to come at it from somebody who's run a company in this space and what that means. And a lot of people, when they're first looking at crypto at the moment, we've got a lot of people, a lot of different coins out there. There's Bitcoin, there's Ethereum, there's lots of different things happening in the space. But what does it mean for people that are looking to use it for money transfers? And I think one of the interesting themes that's happening recently is the emergence of more P2P systems. So peer-to-peer payments where people can essentially, have some website where they can connect together. They can use whatever their local payment method is. There's quite a few Bitcoin companies around the world which allow people to buy and sell Bitcoin in whatever their native mechanism for trade is. So having one system that fits all doesn't really capture all of these different markets all over the world where people pay in different stuff. They need to receive money in different forms. So essentially, there are an emergence in the last 12 months of a lot of these platforms, and I'm sure Luis can give some background on this as well later, is a lot of these different platforms where people can match their local payment mechanism to buy Bitcoin or to sell as well. And why use cryptocurrencies at all for this thing? Well, I can have a Bitcoin here in New Zealand and I can send it to Hugo in Miami and it can be done instantly, and we don't have to agree when the banks are open. We don't have to care about COVID. The money will get there. So essentially, this is a key important fact, when people are transacting in these P2P systems, is often you'll have people in different countries. One of the problems is that not all payment methods in the world are connected together. So using cryptocurrencies is more of a way of uniting all of these different payment methods. And this is what people are using it for. And there's different prices around the world, for Bitcoin in one location or the other, or different payment methods. But essentially, it creates a level playing field. And I think that's one of the most interesting things is, usually if you're dealing with banks, there's top tier banks, there's second tier, third tier. Everyone has different SWIFT, privileges. But with crypto, it's kind of like, well, can you buy it? Can you sell it? Yes or no? If you can, then you're in business.
The peer-to-peer trading opportunities is so big that Binance has gotten into it as well. So Binance is one of the largest brand names in crypto right now. So they now have a P2P.binance.com marketplace. And thus far it's eclipsed almost all of the other volume that we're doing. My business didn't used to be a peer-to-peer retail trading oriented business. We were very, very oriented around crypto and remittances and things like that. But what we've found this year in particular is that now 60% of all that we do is kind of around these marketplaces. So we're one of the most active vendors in the Philippines in these marketplaces because that's where the people are. That's where the people are trying to make their money.
We don't know what's happening with remittances. We see the data. We see the data in Mexico growing, and why is it growing? I mean, is unemployment all around in the United States? You all know the news in the United States. They're not good, but people are hustling, and migrants have always been hustlers. Really?
Mm-hmm. It's been a rough sort of initial half of the year, right? COVID, lockdowns. A lot of small businesses were, sort of forced to close out of nowhere. A lot of people got laid off. As a consequence, you're seeing, economic stimulus, a whole bunch of things happen. I can't really say why, but there's been a lot of price action, a lot of increased demand for Bitcoin. I'm sure remittances have a large part to do with that. We've seen a lot of, sort of institutional interest lately from big players. So whatever the reason is, there seems to be a lot going on that, I can't really fully wrap my head around because there's a lot of moving pieces. But, things are certainly accelerating. And I think that's one thing that the sort of the lockdowns have done is that they sort of accelerated things like Zoom meetings, delivery services for businesses, and also accelerated people's interest or appetite for cryptocurrencies, right? So maybe back in 2018, people weren't interested, but now in 2020, it seems to be even hotter than it was in 2017 or 2018.